Yeah, had to come through and let you know. Keep it locked, this is the Nate and Garrett Show. Talking current events, let the conversation begin. Everything from conspiracies, yeah, I'm talking aliens. Truth bombs that many never knew. We talking politics, everything up to the moon. Was the landing real or fake? I guess you'll never know. Let's talk, this is the Nate and Garrett Show, yeah. So lend me your ear, let's get it poppin'. You know that we keep it live, non-stopping. Educating, entertain, there ain't no doubt. After you listen, you'll be thinking way outside the box. From media dishonesty, never let them play you. Keep it authentic nowadays, many can't do. Unfiltered is how we do it. Make sure you stay locked in and tuned in, let's go. Had to come through and let you know. Keep it locked, this is the Nate and Garrett Show. Talking current events, let the conversation begin. Everything from conspiracies, yeah, I'm talking aliens. The Nate and Garrett Show.
And now, welcome to the Nate and Garrett Show. Prepare yourself to be transported to the furthest reaches of reality. As the hosts unravel the mysteries of the universe, the depths of the deep state, the truth hidden in plain sight, all while bringing you the news from this week. Please welcome your hosts, Nate and Garrett.
All right, we're live.
Hey, everybody.
What's
Well,
up?
Nate, we broke our streak of being on time.
Yeah, it was bound to happen someday, you know.
Yeah. Hopefully, we don't have any technical difficulties tonight.
Yeah.
Long story short, I guess it's kind of an interesting topic that Skype is dead. Skype is no more.
Yep, Skype. How many years was Skype? 20 years or something? They had a long run.
Yeah, you remember that was a big one during COVID. The stock was moving. They're kind of saying because Skype's gonna be big, and
Yeah.
I mean they replaced it with something, but
Yeah, so that's what happened. Skype.
Our show usually runs through Skype.
Yeah.
And we couldn't tonight, so.
So we had to find a new way to get Garrett's video into my Streamlabs, and I don't know. We're not exactly technical
I give it
wizards.
about a 30% chance of us getting through the end of the show.
Yeah, we had quite a few difficulties. His camera might disappear, so if it happens, we'll have to just end the show. But
Yeah.
for
We have
now,
a lot to
we're going.
cover. And we have a lot to cover from last show, but we didn't even get into the whole Canada splitting up thing. We didn't get into AI like we wanted.
Yeah,
Since then, we have a couple trade deals, which that's kind of crazy, really. I think there's a lot to unpack there. The stock market now, I think, is higher than any time before Trump won the election, basically, since November, whatever, 4th it was. I think the stock market is now higher than that.
Oh, wow. So I'm sure
And
all
you
the
know what?
liberals are saying, what a great job.
We need to better report that because they were acting like what Trump is just crashing the stock market
Yeah.
and he's ruining your 401ks. How could you guys be for this? Well, now it's higher than it ever was since the election. Now what? Are they going to go and run some corrections on that?
Yeah.
They couldn't wait 2 weeks.
Oh, no, your camera disappeared, dude. And your audio disappeared.
All right.
You're back.
Oh,
Oh, wow. I was ready to call it. I was ready to call it right there.
I know. It's been a frustrating hour behind the scenes for people that don't know. But really, I was kind of just saying that it's very disingenuous for the media to acknowledge that. I mean, they couldn't wait 3 weeks. It was already just, this is crashing and burning. This isn't working. It's been 3 weeks and it's basically all recovered. The SPY went from like 480 up to like, what is it, like 580 now? That's a 20-ish% increase there. Hopefully you were buying. Hopefully you weren't selling. Can you imagine selling into that? It's like Trump said, don't be a panicking. Like, what a dumb idea that would be to sell into.
Well, I hope that the Democrats did sell since they were crying that the sky is falling. But it's also, it's similar to the egg prices and stuff. They'll never apologize or admit they were wrong. They were immediately wrong. They're immediately wrong again about the stock market.
Yeah.
And, it's similar thing with the trade deals and with the tariffs. Well, they're still saying, oh, these tariffs, everything's ruined. We're all going to die. And give it 6 months. It's going to all be way better. You know what I mean? Like,
do you have the email? We're a little bit behind here. Do you have the email about the trade war I sent you? I sent you just 2 graphics there. Let
me see. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Trade deals right there.
Graphics, these?
All right, here's this. So
hang on, let me bring it up.
The United Kingdom was the first country to come with a trade deal. Which, you know what's interesting about this is, if it wasn't for Brexit, this couldn't have happened. Because the Brexit, that gave them their autonomy back, basically. And that's why they were doing it. Because the EU basically tries to tell them what they have to set this stuff at, how much migrants they have to take, all of that. So they leave. And of course, liberals are, once again, this is the end of the world. You guys are ruining a great country. You know, all of this. Well, because of Brexit, they're the ones that get the first trade deal.
Thank goodness.
Here's what I don't like about this, Nate. I mean, this is the market flew on this news. I think this is bad news for the EU. I think this guarantees the EU is not going to get anywhere near this good of a deal.
It puts pressure on all these countries to get in line. Yes. That's what I like about it.
Could you hide our camera still?
Yeah. Hang on. Okay. Oh, we can't hear you, Gary. You're hiding your camera. Maybe hiding your camera muted you. I'm going to bring you back.
All right, weird. So that did mute me, didn't it?
Yeah, for some reason, I can't hide your camera.
Rowan's going to have a hard time making clips out of this if we're just having technical difficulties the whole time. But what is behind me there?
I'm going to move you over here.
All right, so new market access, whatever, tariff, whatever. I mean, both of those are kind of subjective things. Supposedly, a lot of those non-tariff trade barriers are lifted, and it's going to help our farmers and hurt their farmers, whatever. But here's what I do not like about this.
Okay.
You know, we're both very, very much free trade guys.
Yeah.
Very much so. And that's what we said. We don't like tariffs. And people said, and we kind of thought the same. And people told us, like, this is Trump's way of just getting rid of tariffs. Well, apparently not, because here's the first trade deal. Here's what I don't like, is that the U.S. tariffs used to be, what the tariffs we put on them were 3.4%. Now it's 10%. So we have a higher tariff on Britain than we did before this all happened.
Okay.
So he's sticking with that 10% thing. I was hoping that would go to zero. UK tariffs on us were 5.1%, and now they're down to 1.8%. I wish ours were 1.8%. Because
let's just match it and make that our principle. You know?
Yes, because tariffs are an inflationary force in general. I think it's way overblown. What the liberals and the Fed is saying is going to happen, but I think this is the first deal. This is one of the better deals, and we still have a 10% tariff on them. I don't like that.
Yeah,
as a free trade guy.
Yeah, I know what you mean. In defense of it, I will say that maybe it is still just kind of the means to the eventual ending of tariffs. And it's okay with me of like, okay, we're keeping this 10% on everybody. So even though we made this deal with you, Britain, we're keeping the 10% on you for now.
I think what Trump's thinking is we're the biggest consumers in the world. It's not a right to have access to our markets. It's a privilege. And so I think he's thinking, because we consume way more than everyone else, we're putting a tariff on you.
Yeah.
But your tariff better be lower. I think that's the message with this. It's kind of funny because, you know, liberals and everything, which usually are for tariffs, unless Trump does it, they're screaming, going, this is only bad for the U.S. This is not bad for for Canada or whatever country is putting tariffs on.
Yeah.
But it's kind of funny because now they're freaking out. The UK and stuff, especially the UK liberals, are going, American farmers are going to undercut our farmers. Their food's going to be cheaper, and it's just going to hurt UK farmers.
Yeah.
So they're basically, in a sense, admitting that tariffs are protectionist, and there are apparently, according to liberals, benefits to the tariffs.
Yeah, obviously.
But this is supposed to be good for our farmers because now they'll be able to sell in more markets, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So China, if you go to the next one.
Okay.
This isn't a done deal yet, but this is it, I think, for the next 90 days. And I think it was happening in Geneva, but China and the U.S. were there. So they decided to meet about this. And basically, it sounds like everyone was shocked. Everyone doing the negotiation was saying, wow, we're actually not very far off. We actually agree with you guys quite a bit. So now China lowered their tariffs from 125% down to 10%. In America, we went from 100 whatever, almost infinite tariffs, down to 30%. So people are still going to be able to buy their Temu junk for way cheaper, but a little bit of a premium on that.
Why does this seem like a huge win by Trump to me?
I know, because we were told that he had no plan. They made it like he's an idiot. He's a bull in the China shop, and he with no plan. And now he's got 2 trade deals.
Yeah.
Where if you're a liberal looking at these, you're going, yeah, this is a much better deal for the United States of America. Even CNN ran a story basically saying, oh my God, I don't know how he did this with China. I don't know if this was his plan or if he fumbled into it. That's kind of the art of the deal thing is you fumble, you look like you're fumbling into this. But once again, he could have lowered it to 10%. He didn't. I think 10% is going to be the bottom. I think that's the message to these countries. You better come with lower tariffs than 10%, and we're keeping 10% on you, or else we're going to cut you off completely.
Yeah. And, look, like you said, you and I both want 0 tariffs from everybody, completely fair trade. Yep. But if Trump ends up working it so that the U.S. has a 10% tariff on everybody else, I'm not exactly, horrified by that. I think that it'll help to bring manufacturing back to the U.S. It'll probably create jobs here. It'll maybe have some big benefits.
He needs to somehow get that 10%. He needs to get the money that brings in. He's got to get back to the taxpayer. He talked about no taxes on anyone earning $150,000. He's had other major claims like that. He's just got to do it. Yeah. He's got to bite the bullet and do it. That's going to turn it for a lot of people. Because we've said over and over, the government does not have a revenue problem. It has a spending problem.
Absolutely.
The last thing I want is our government to get more money. We know the USAID now. We know that was going. We always knew it, but we didn't know to the extent of the evil shit that money was going to. The world is better off. At least the United States is better off without USAID. And I think that's a lot for a lot of government spending. The USA would be way better off if our government was broke and couldn't spend on a lot of
that's what
things.
I fully believe. Of course, it's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
Jake says 0 tariffs when the IRS is gone. Yeah, abolish the IRS.
It have to be one of the two. But I think if we're going to have these 10% tariffs worldwide, he's got to cut taxes for the middle class.
Okay, but let's take a look real quick at Trump's. He's been in office like 130 days or something, right? Yep. It's not very long. What he has done with the economy, I am thrilled about. I love, even if it wasn't working out like it is, it's working out great. If it wasn't working out, I would still think, oh, good, it's gonna work out later. But it's actually working out great already. And so, like you mentioned with the tariff money, he should refund that to the taxpayers. I love that idea. And I would just want to point out, the Doge money. Oh my God, getting rid of USAID, all these great things that is happening. And I want to also point out that no taxes on tips, no taxes on overtime. That's through, right? That's like done deal, right?
Apparently not. Apparently not. I mean, apparently it's in the new finance bill that they're going to be voting on or whatever.
Well, that's a huge deal. If he does that, which I think is going to happen, that's huge. That's huge for the working American.
While you're praising Trump, and we've kind of made this point too, that the Republican Party, especially the old school Republican Party, was fucking terrible. They're all terrible. The whole neocons, all of that. We've always been against them. We've always hated them.
Right. They were the uniparty snakes.
Yeah. When we said how terrible they've always been, and then Trump comes and they're almost acting like, yeah, no, we're Trump people. Apparently not, because the House and the Senate, Republicans have the majority of the House and the Senate right now. Probably not after midterms. What have they done since then? They've been on vacation. They're not passing anything. They were going to vote on a law to basically make the cuts of Doge permanent, and all of a sudden they're not going to now. That's not being voted on. Are they waiting till after midterms? Are they doing the Bernie Sanders thing where they're going to wait till they know they don't have the votes and then they're going to try getting it passed?
Yeah, they are.
That's what it seems like is happening. They're worthless. I'm afraid that this party goes right back to the old John McCain's when Trump is out.
Dude,
and not only that, I think they're all secretly John McCain's, and they're going to try to gum up the system.
I think you're right. I think that's a great point. You made a tweet about that the other day saying basically that, as soon as Trump is out of office, I think that all these neocon Republicans are just waiting. There's waiting in the weeds to take the party back over. And we need MAGA Republicans, and we need to get rid of these entrenched piece of shit politicians who aren't doing any good for the U.S. people.
Speaking of that, something really interesting happened, and it is the breakdown of the Israel and USA alliance. Have you seen this?
I've seen some of it, and I'm thrilled about it.
Pull up the email real quick of Israel 1 or whatever I labeled it.
Okay, let me see.
The top one there. Top one. This is the one we didn't get to yesterday. Pull up this one first. So, speaking of our worthless house, they're not. I guess got to reiterate this. Right now, the Republicans have the majority of the House and the Senate. I can almost guarantee you they won't after midterms. They're going to lose the House. They're going to keep the Senate. They might even expand the Senate, but they're going to lose the House.
That freaks me out, and I wouldn't have guessed that, Garrett.
Yeah, we have what, a year and a half, if that, to get shit passed, and they're on vacation. They aren't voting now for no reason. They haven't even announced it. It gets disappeared. Thomas Massey came out and said, hey, why are we not voting to make the Doge cuts permanent? Mike Johnson's nowhere to be found. Crickets. Well, here's what they did try to pass. Have you seen this?
Let me see. Okay.
The House will vote Monday, so this is a while ago, on H.R. 867, the IGO Anti-Boycott Act, sponsored by Rep. Mike Lawler. So this is a finding people in jail time for boycotting Israel. So not only there's enough backlash, they didn't vote on this. Here's the bad thing. It already passed. This is to expand the law that already passed. It is illegal in a lot of states to boycott Israel or Israel businesses.
How can that be true?
Not only that, if you're doing business with like states of like Texas and stuff, they make you sign something saying they're only going to do business with you if you don't boycott Israel businesses. This already passed.
That's a freedom of speech infringement because I can boycott anybody I want. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Apparently,
according to the U.S. House, you can't, and they could fine you and throw you in prison. And this is already passed. I got to keep pointing that out because people were kind of happy saying, "Oh wow, they're not voting on this." This was just to expand it. It's already passed. And if you do business with states, other states have to sign something saying they're not going to boycott Israel or Israel products. This is already a thing.
I'm confused by what it is, though, because if I say I'm not buying anything from Israel, what? I'm going to get a knock on my door?
I guess
they're going to fine me $1 million?
If you have a big enough name and influential enough, I guess so.
Well,
everybody
this won't hold up. If it's a real thing, it's not going to hold up.
Yeah, I mean, we could grok it and ask, but I know we're already against that time. But
overall, this is stupid. Whatever it is,
this is not America first. No matter what you think of Israel and our relationship with Israel, whether it be a religious thing, if you're a Christian or a Jew, or whether it is a political thing, if you're worried about U.S.'s involvement in the Middle East, there is no way that this is a USA first bill. And we're supposed to be America first right now. And it's obviously not.
Right.
Thomas Massey brought this up, and I think I've either talked about it or alluded to it a lot. But basically, if you are a congressman or a senator or the president, you have an AIPAC basically handler. For people that don't know what AIPAC is, it's basically somebody making sure that you're voting in the interest of Israel, and everybody has this. I
mean,
you
can have see, an AIPAC handler,
except for Thomas Massey, and he's been threatened over it. His wife died recently, and they used that to attack him over it. But for the first time, it looks like our presidency might have shunned it too. It maybe not as an APAC handler.
Adam and Stove says, what are they planning to do that they're preemptively prohibiting boycotts? Hey, that's a good point.
Yeah.
If they're passing a thing saying, hey, no boycotts about Israel, what's about to happen that maybe there would be? That's a great point. Hopefully Israel isn't going to do a bunch of horrible stuff or anything.
They wouldn't. They're the God's chosen people.
Yeah.
They're our greatest ally.
Yeah, they're our greatest ally. Dude, I love it's what we've said before. We, as Americans and the USA, we shouldn't have foreign entanglement. Our politicians shouldn't have double allegiance to other countries and shit like that. We need to cut all these foreign entanglements we have, including with Israel, and get back to an America first policy, strong national defense. Good luck to everybody else. Leave us alone. And that includes Israel.
So kind of getting into the next segment, I guess, we'll just jump into it. Trump supposedly basically cut ties with Netanyahu. Mike Waltz, he's getting fired. It sounds like he was almost working as a spy for Israel, trying to get Trump to go to war against Iran, essentially, is what it sounds like.
Here's this about Mike Waltz.
Yes.
Let me read this. Let me see if I've got it pulled up first. Hang on. Okay. Here it is.
While you're pulling this up, Nate, I got to ask this kind of a question. What do you think is the most successful terrorist attack ever?
I suppose 9/11.
So I think that is a really good answer. And here's why. They told us, what did they tell us in the news when everyone said, who attacked us and why? What did they tell us?
Yeah. I mean, they told us
you
because of our freedom, because we have freedom.
Osama bin Laden became a household name.
Yeah.
And they said they hated us for our freedoms. What happened? Oh my God, I just got clicked out. Can you hear me audio wise?
Yeah, I can still hear you.
All right. God damn it. So what happened, Nate, with our freedoms since 9/11? Have we gotten more free or have we gotten less free?
We've gotten less free. And I blame George Bush and the lizard people for passing the Patriot Act.
So if their goal, what they told us is true, and their goal is to make us, if they hate our freedom, they won because they made us less free. Yeah. Way less free. We can't fly without getting groped. Flying's terrible now. It's way more expensive now. A lot of your ticket when you're flying is paying for TSA. And I think it was, I'm going to say Southwest. They wanted to give when you buy your ticket, they were going to give you the price of the ticket, and they're going to give you the price of TSA on top of it. And the government said, nope, we're not letting you do that because we're your boss, apparently. I don't know how that's legal or whatever, but they did that and they folded. I'm also thinking the most successful terrorist attack ever was that attack on, what is it, January? What was the date for the one in Israel during the music festival?
Yeah, October 7th, right?
Yeah, boy, that seemed to have turned the tides against Israel, didn't it? The left. I mean, before then, we didn't have free Hamas. We didn't have people chanting from the mountain to the sea, Palestine will be free. We didn't have these giant rallies for Palestine.
Okay.
We had the left. We talked too about how the Jewish people in America, 80-something% vote Democrat every year. But for some reason, the old neocon Republican, they want to just give money to Israel for whatever reason. I have no idea why. They just have to do that for some reason. Now the left just hates Israel.
Right. Yeah, that's pretty. That's a pretty interesting thing that has happened. Is the left has turned against Israel so hard?
Yeah. I'm hoping my camera pops back on right here. I don't know what's going on with that.
There you go.
There I am. All right. But yeah, so I think that might be the most successful terrorist attack ever because it just somehow endeared the left to Hamas.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, hey, I guess because it did. Like the left supports Hamas, basically.
Yes. Yep.
And, dude, I'm a conspiracy theorist, and there's so much weird shit around that terrorist attack.
What do you got? I want to hear it. What do you got?
Well, I mean, essentially, a terrorist hang glided into a music festival and started killing people. And honestly, it looks to me like, okay, I've heard other people say, like, was there a stand down order by Israel Defense Forces to allow this shit to happen? Not only that, there were pickup trucks driving around in their city, kidnapping citizens and killing them, keeping them in the back of a truck. Remember that? Mm-hmm. 5 guys with AKs are kidnapping random people, driving around for hours. They couldn't do that in Elm Creek, Nebraska. A cop would have stopped them and arrested them. How could that happen in Israel?
I think they looked at 9/11 and thought, look how this brought everyone together and made all of the United States blood hungry. We had the left and the right just wanting to go to war. There wasn't a single vote against the Iraq war.
Yeah.
Not a single one. Right. We had the liberals.
So maybe Israel was trying to do something like that.
Chanting USA. I think that. I think there's no way their intelligence agencies didn't know it was going to happen.
Yeah.
Did you see the video of somebody that was at, God, what was it? They were doing the, what do you call it when you're up on like the treetops and you're on a rope and you're shooting across? Yes. Did you see the zip line from that?
That was from that zip line thing's from the India-Palestine or the India-Pakistan recent terrorist attack.
No,
that's not from the Israel one.
Are you sure? That is from the concert that they were at, and you're seeing people getting shot from that. Type in like Israel zip line. Oh,
dude, I thought that was the India-Pakistan one.
No, I don't think so. I don't think there's been any ground troops like that.
This is an interesting video. Anyway, whichever one it was, zip line.
Yes.
And dude, I also think this guy was definitely in on it.
This is it. Yeah. Did you see they cut out with him saying Allah Akbar?
Yeah.
Right when
they cut it out.
And the people that originally put it cut that out.
Okay, they're saying Pakistani. Yeah, this is not the Israel one, Garrett.
I don't think this is. We'll play it anyway. It's kind of interesting.
And this is Pahalgam. Is that in India?
Interesting.
I'm pretty sure. I'm actually 60%, 65% sure. This is the India terrorist attack that recently happened. Okay, but yeah, watch this. This, in my opinion, these guys are in on it. I mean,
it is weird.
Yeah. Okay. So here's the video. It's whatever. You can hear gunshots and stuff. It's a little graphic.
Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar.
He's completely unsurprised.
Woo! Okay, so you can see some people figuring out that, like, hey, is a shooting happening right now? And I think this guy knew one was going to happen. That's why he's on the zip line filming this, you know.
Do you think so? That is kind of crazy.
Well, it just makes no sense that the guy would be saying Allah Akbar before sending this guy down the zip line.
Man, you see a kind of a halfway graphic one here pretty soon, and his demeanor seems to change a little bit. But maybe it's becoming real to him.
Yeah, because it is a question of was this guy in on it and filming it, or is he just a tourist who happened to accidentally take a terrible video? I don't know the answer to that, but here we go. Okay, so yeah, I think this was the. Let me see. Is this the India terrorist attack?
There are a lot of the things are saying that. You're right, but
okay, yeah, I think so. And the Israel terrorists, they paraglided or like parachuted into the music festival.
You know why we're on these shootings? I have two kind of crazy shootings to show you. Do you want to watch those before we get into it?
Sure.
I sent you an email.
Yeah. I'll just open it again.
One's quick. The other one's the craziest thing I've ever seen. Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw that.
How weird is that?
Oh, man. It must be uncomfortable. I have to log in.
Oh, man.
Hang on.
I mean, they do show. Do you know what? Go into X and type in, like, Uber Eats. I think it wasn't Uber Eats. It was the other one. What's the other one that's not Uber Eats?
DoorDash?
DoorDash. Yeah, DoorDash shot. Push that in. I think that should come up. Yeah, did you see this video? This one's not graphic to watch. So this is a DoorDash driver that supposedly was going around asking for directions. Said he's lost. And apparently it was at night. Apparently it was more than one house. Supposedly it was a couple houses. But this homeowner, who also is like, God, I think he's on like the city council or something. Just I'll let you play it and we could talk about it.
Okay.
Go!
Start shooting at him.
Why isn't he leaving?
I think he got hit. So he got hit during this. He's got some bad injuries, and they think he's going to live. But also, apparently, they're really bad injuries. So he hit him there. So this guy's in deep trouble.
So explain to me what happened there. The DoorDash guy was just parked in his driveway or what?
Apparently, he must have went to the door. I don't know why they wouldn't show that. So maybe I don't know, but apparently he was asking for directions. And that was not the first house he's been at. So I wish they would have showed that if it happens. The only thing I've seen is that. I've tried to read about it, and they more talk about how he...
Oh, they do show
Yeah,
it.
there it is. Okay, good.
Okay.
I've never seen this part. I don't have audio,
The
by the way,
24-year-old
for any of these, but we'll worry about that later.
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
Asher was lost.
My phone is
When police say he was seen here Friday night in Chester, going door to door with a bag and his cell phone in hand.
can help.
We traced the Dasher steps to get this video from one of the houses he went to before police say he was shot in the Valerie Drive neighborhood in Orange County.
He did stop at our house, and I thought maybe my wife had ordered DoorDash. He didn't seem to speak.
Multiple times by Chester
If
Highway
that's just a guy asking for directions, I feel terrible for him. And I hope that guy does get a lot of jail time. Which
Well,
I think
yeah,
he's got
I
either
mean,
way.
there's no doubt the guy wasn't in mortal danger to be shooting
Yeah.
at a guy,
Yeah, I mean,
you
guy
know,
driving away
40 feet away or whatever. So he looks like he deserves to go to jail.
Yeah, and I think he's got This is the next one I sent you.
Yeah, I
One is
saw
really
this.
good. This one is crazy. These are two boys, 7 and 9. Of course, father's locked up. Cops, I guess, have been at this house numerous times. But this one is just the age of it makes it crazy. And I guess I'll give a little spoiler. They actually pull the trigger here, but the gun malfunctions and it doesn't fire.
The kid pulls the trigger?
Yes.
Ooh. Okay, let's
Yeah.
play it and see.
Let's play it.
Go ahead and put it down for me, okay?
You're not in trouble, but you have to drop that and come talk to us, all right?
If there's a magazine inside the magazine well,
Put it down,
but
baby.
they're playing with the gun back and forth. The one in the blue is trying to take it from the one in the orange.
Put it down, baby.
Just drop it, buddy.
Put it down, babe. You're okay.
Oh, man. So the one kid takes it from the other, and you're kind of hoping that the kid who takes it is going to put it down.
Put
he
it down.
doesn't.
And now the kid in the blue and green has a
So
firearm.
he points it at him.
All right, then Eugene, can you put it down for me? Now Sean has it. Sean, can you just...
Hang on. I should probably hide our webcams. It's kind of an intense video. Two little kids with a loaded gun. I mean...
You know, it's my daughter.
Oh, dang.
I can't imagine her being in this situation. It's like just knowing that's my daughter's there. You can't think, oh my God, I can't imagine this.
Yeah. I'm going to hide your webcam, and it's going to mute you, Garrett.
Okay.
Okay.
Because we want to help you. We want to help you.
I want to try to do a warning, something.
Put it down, Sean. We don't want to hurt you, okay?
I just don't want to fucking.
Put it down, Sean.
I really don't want to fucking 40 a kid right
We
now.
don't want to hurt you, and we want to help you, okay?
Aim it and fire.
It'd be.
48.
Put it down, baby.
40 going out. 40, 40, 40.
Drop!
Oh man, look at that. They shoot towards him. I don't think they tried to kill him there. I hope not. And then he raises his gun towards them.
Drop it! Drop it! Drop it, Sean! Load another one. Load another one. Drop it now! You're gonna get hit! Drop it!
You dropped the gun! Taser, taser, taser! Put your hands off! Don't forget! Put your hands off! Pull them up! Drop it! Hands
This is intense.
Drop it now. Drop it, both of you.
I don't even have the gun. I don't have the gun.
Get over here.
Oh my god.
10-3, 10-4.
Okay, hang on. I'm glad that ended with no one dying. Holy cow.
Yeah, that could have been so much worse. Apparently, that was the less lethal ammunition. I think you're right. I think they weren't trying to hit him.
I hope not. There's a little kid. That's
I
a
know.
tense situation.
That's a sad situation. I guess the cops have been out their house numerous times. It was like an ungodly amount of time, like over 60. Dad's locked up, just the mom. No charges of the kids, which is nice because they're 7 and 9. Apparently, they put them into counseling and stuff. You got to take the kids away from the bomb at that point. You know?
Yeah. No.
How
kidding.
lucky are they that didn't? That could have ended so bad.
Yeah, I
What a weird
wonder.
position.
You said the kid pulled the trigger. I wonder when.
Yep,
Was
I
it
know.
when he pointed at the cops?
I don't know.
Dude, that's an intense video. That's freaking me out. Honestly, I'm so
I can
glad
see
nobody
why
got hurt.
Me too. I can see why the cops would be on edge. Of course, that's a tough one.
Yikes. Yeah, pretty scary stuff.
So yeah, that was my sidetrack. But Trump is supposedly mad at Netanyahu for trying to drag us into Iran. There's rumors that Trump is going to recognize Palestine, even, which that would be holy cow.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That's interesting. Holy
Yeah.
cow, that would
If
be
that
very
happened.
interesting. Yeah.
There's some people saying that's not accurate, but what is that? And supposedly his AIPAC people are shut off from Trump right now, which that is huge news, really.
You
I
said
think it'd be great.
that he might recognize Palestine.
No, I think it'd be great that the AIPAC handlers don't have access to Trump right now. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, I think it'd be great.
That's been one of our fears about Trump is that
Yes.
he's just secretly Israel's lapdog, like
Yeah.
everybody else has always
That
been.
was Malay. Malay. He converted to Judaism right after he won. So everyone's like, "Oh, what the heck is this going to do for this
Yeah.
now?"
But it actually, what's been happening lately is more evidence that Trump is America first. Makes me more of a fan of him.
He got a ceasefire supposedly between Pakistan and India. I think it was like Pakistan
Oh yeah.
violated it, but it sounds like it's back on. He made peace with the Houthis. So I think that there's a deep state, of course. I think the deep state is getting desperate. I think they're going to try to foment a ton of global shit like this. We're going to see more global terrorism. They're going to see us be trying to drawn into more of these wars. But it looks like so far, knock on wood, Trump has been doing a great job of dodging getting us in any of these wars.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I don't want to fanboy all the time over Trump, but man, I honestly think he's doing such a good job. And like you were bringing up, I mean, look at, when in his original 4 years, there were no new wars. He was the first president to do that. He honestly looks like the peace president.
The first one we've had since who knows how long, probably since the founding fathers, really. I don't think any of our presidents have been peace presidents.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, it's unreal. It's really, really a breath of fresh air. He's making legitimate changes that seem to help the American people. I've got a lot of hope for these next 4 years. I wonder if Congress and the Senate will get off their ass and help instead of gumming up the works.
Earlier in the week, I was starting to get really frustrated. I was kind of thinking about Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, Mike Johnson, the House, even the Senate. And it was just getting to be like, God damn it. Here we are slowly going back to the way it was with tariffs. So the way it was, but also we have these tariffs. And it felt like we were getting clickbaited constantly. Who's the Project Veritas guy? He came out and said, I got the biggest announcement, and I got to tell you, I'm in hiding, and I'm not suicidal. Yeah. And then Trump comes out and says, I have the biggest announcement ever, and it's going to be the biggest announcement for Americans ever. And I just thinking, like, we're just getting clickbaited left and right by all of these fucking guys. And it started to really piss me off. And then I don't know if this is the same announcement or not, but then yesterday, Trump said, my next truth, and Truth Social, is going to be super important. And I was just thinking, like, what could this really be? This better not be I'm going to meet Netanyahu or something. But it turned out this one might be kind of a big one. But also, it's kind of interesting to see. But he announced that no longer is the middle class in Americans going to be taking the burden of drug prices, of pharmaceutical prices.
Honestly, this is huge. And it seems great. And you know, once
I was
again,
less mad afterwards because it's a big announcement.
Yeah, it is a big announcement. It's a big deal. And once again, it's this thing that the liberals have been, you know, beating the drum for and screaming and screeching about. And now Trump actually does it, and they're gonna criticize it. They're gonna say how it's bad, you know.
Can you hear me? Okay, there I am. All right, yes.
And it just more hypocrisy from them.
Yes. It's gonna be funny to watch this one play out because Bernie Sanders, this was supposed to be his big thing, and the less big thing. And I think now they're going to be mad saying, gosh dang it, this was ours. And now Trump's going to get credit for it. And they're going to be like, well, I would be for it, but you know Trump's going to fuck it up. He's just going to go and do it badly. So I'm against this now.
Right.
I've brought this up a few times too. We're seeing a bit of a party switch. The old neocons are now becoming the Democrats in some sense. The Democrats are becoming the neocons. And this is going to be another one. Now, we have a president kind of doing price fixing in a roundabout way. And we're going to see the Democrats telling the Republicans why price fixing is bad and how it's going to lead to shortages.
Right.
We're probably happening right now.
Yeah. And
this is a different situation, by the way.
Right.
But that is just that's what Republicans say to Democrats when they say there needs to be rent controls. So it's just kind of funny to watch that switch. But you know, we brought this up a few times, how these small Eastern European countries, or not Eastern, these small European countries would be like, ooh, Americans are so stupid, they don't have socialized medicine. And I've always said in the show, the reason they have that is because of us. Part of it was we're paying for their protection, which Trump is finally acknowledging,
nation's defense,
telling them to stand up. So, but at the same time, Trump, did you see his newest spending bill has $1 trillion for our defense? Our defense does not need that much money. He's got to cut that down. But I need to keep on track here. The other thing is pharmaceutical companies. So they're the biggest lobbyists in the United States by far, in the world. They go to these countries that have socialized medicine or whatever, and they say, give me a name of a pill quick. Any of them. Zoloft.
Okay.
They'll say, we'll give you Zoloft. We'll cut you a great deal. It'll be $3 a pill. But they're going to the U.S. and they're saying Zoloft is $85 a pill. But you could run through insurance and everything. But it's $85 a pill. There's nothing we could do about it. On average, the U.S. pays like 4 times more for a prescription drug than the rest of the world. And a lot of those are way different. There's some that are legit 40 times more when it comes to this. And their excuse is, well, it's the research and development. I don't know why they decided that's on us. Why is that on the American?
Yeah, no kidding.
Say taxpayer, the American citizens, the consumers. How do they get away saying we're going to charge you more but don't worry, it's going to research and development, and we'll give everyone else in the world it for way, way cheaper for whatever reason.
Yeah,
we were fine with it.
A slap in the face.
Let's say you were trying to get Zoloft, and you say, okay, fine, I'll just go to Canada. I'm going to Canada to get Zoloft, right?
Yeah,
no problem.
Yeah,
right?
no big deal.
It
yeah.
is a problem. It's illegal. These same presidents that are paid off by these people, they not only say, that's fine, we'll pay 40 times more for Zoloft. Also, we'll put you in jail if you go and buy any from Canada.
What a scam.
Or from Mexico. We'll put you in jail for that.
Yeah.
But it's for your own good because we don't know. Maybe their safety standards in Canada aren't good enough. Even though the safety standards for food and everything else is higher, but maybe that Zoloft isn't safe for you. So we'll throw you in jail if you buy it from there.
Yeah.
That's legit what happens. We've had presidents, Barack Obama, run on ending this. And what they do is they pass a certain kind of law saying, well, we'll let you do that as long as the FDA says it. But then the people they put in the FDA says, we're not going to look at any of the drugs. So it's essentially illegal. So Bush did this. Obama did this. Biden did this. They've increased the penalties for going out and trying to buy these drugs in different countries. All at the same time, Big Pharma is making us pay way more. For some reason, we're the ones that have to do research and development.
Yeah. Oh, it's absolutely crazy. And it's been going on for whatever, 50 years.
So why this isn't really the same as price fixing is basically what Trump says is going to happen. They're going to go to them and say, okay, what's the cheapest price that you give a industrialized country? Well, that's what you're going to give us then.
Yeah, I like
This is kind of what Medicare does. Medicare, let's say you are a pain doctor and you have a patient come in and said, Nate, I like you. I'm in a lot of pain. Could you help me? And you say, you know what? Yes, I'll give you a 50% discount. Well, if that's less than what Medicare pays, they come in and say, okay, Nate, since you're giving them that price, you're going to give us that same price. So we're only going to pay you that much for that shot. Not only that, every time that we paid more than that in the past, we want that money back.
Wow, yeah.
So you can't undercut Medicare at all. So it's kind of the same thing Trump is going to say to these guys, really.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it seems like a good thing to me. It also seems like, I don't think it's like you said, the government laws have given them this monopoly on being able to charge us 10,000 times as much.
You get rid of these laws and let people bring these in from different countries, you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, yeah. And
The
the price would plummet because everyone would buy it from other countries.
We'd have a Nate and Garrett pharmacy, and we'd find the countries that could give us it for the cheapest, and we'd bring it in.
Yeah, exactly.
And we'd sell it.
And that would happen immediately.
We can't do that because Bush and Obama and Biden and every president before this made it illegal.
Yeah. So that's why I support this. What Trump's really doing is he's getting rid of this government enforced monopoly that is screwing over the American people, and particularly on, life-saving medications, supposedly, and all medications, pharmaceuticals. And there's people legitimately like, they have to buy insulin, and they raise the price of insulin by 300% in the last 5 years and shit. What are they going to do? Just die? So, and that's part of what everyone has been screaming and complaining about. Well, Trump's fixing it. I hope they give him some credit. They're not gonna, but
play the first video I sent you on Trump talking about this. Do the first one though.
I don't know which one it is, dude. I'll reopen them.
Just reopen this one. We're going to let Trump tell you. There we go. We're going to let Trump in his own words explain this to you. Okay. I think this is going to clear up a lot of your questions, Nate.
Okay, good.
Story friend of
I can't hear this, by the way. I don't know why, but I know what it's going to say. So just go ahead and play it.
Okay.
I'll tell you a story. A friend of mine who's a businessman, very, very, very top guy. Most of you would have heard of him. A highly neurotic, brilliant businessman, seriously overweight, and he takes the fat shot drug. And he called me up, and he said, President, he used to call me Donald, now he calls me President, so that's nice respect. But he's a rough guy, smart guy. very successful, very rich. I wouldn't even know how we would know this, but because he's got comments. President, could I ask you a question? What? I'm in London, and I just paid for this damn fat drug I take. I said, it's not working. He said, I just paid $88. And in New York, I pay $1,300. What the hell is going on?
Who is he talking about, Garrett? A big, fat, successful businessman?
How hilarious is that?
Yeah,
He calls
that's
it a fat shot,
Yeah.
but it's not working. Can you imagine either president giving a big, important press conference like this?
Yeah, that's
There's
great.
some people that are saying he's talking about Elon, but I don't know why that would be. Elon, he was one of the first people to take Ozempic.
It
And I
can't
think
be Elon. I don't think
he's
he would
one of the first
describe him
guys-
as a fat guy.
He's one of the guys that made it take off. He kind of said something like how it's a miracle drug or something. And instantly it was like really hard to get. And a bunch of people that had like type 1 or type 2 diabetes that use it for like the A1C control were pissed off about it. So like, well, now I can't get this and I legitimately need it.
Oh, because he increased demand so much, huh?
Remember Elon took his shirt, he did those pictures of him without his shirt on?
Yeah,
He
he's a
has to pull those
weird
up.
torso, dude.
He's got the Cybertruck torso.
Yeah, yeah. Hang on, I'll pull that up.
I think this is what motivated him.
He's got
But
the.
how funny is that? Maybe put Elon.
There it is. What the hell is this? This is so weird. I love the.
There's a
whoever
ton of
drew
other
this.
pictures that are just kind of even funnier angles or whatever.
Yeah,
But
I'm sure people have seen this, but he's got a weird shaped torso.
And supposed to this, he went on Ozempic and then went and talked about how good it works.
Ozempic, man, dude. Everything I hear about, oh my god, everything I hear about Ozempic makes me think like this is a dangerous, weird drug.
It's photoshopped.
Who has a
know that-
rectangular torso like this?
That kind of looks like to me that someone that had liposuction way back when.
Yeah, maybe.
It kind of gives you that the fat's distributed a little bit weird. Then it looks weird.
Yeah. It kind of looks to me like he was the prototype for a robot in 1995, and that's what he is.
I think he saw this and said, "I got a really good idea for a truck, and we're going to call this Cybertruck."
That's great. But yeah, you know, Ozempic. I've seen these problems where it causes some people to go blind and shit like that.
We're going to find out. There are so many people on it right now that we're going to find out very quickly.
Okay, yeah.
This isn't going to take 30, 40, 50 years. But you know what also is really dangerous is being really overweight.
That's a fact. Yeah.
So here's one of Trump really kind of talking about it. In the beginning here, this is kind of mislabeled. I don't know if we want to watch the whole 4 minutes. This is kind of mislabeled. He does roast ABC a bit before he gets into it. I don't know if we even want to bother showing these because I think we're kind of explaining it. But there is one of RFK talking about it, talking about how big of a deal this is, and basically saying Trump's the greatest president ever because of it, and how nobody else has had the courage to do this in the past.
I want to show this one real quick though, Gary.
Yeah, this one is interesting. Yeah,
because he brings up the point you brought up about we are subsidizing Europe's free health care.
You know what else he says? He says the EU is super nasty, and they're even nastier than China in a lot of ways. And I think this isn't just when it comes to this. I think he's kind of talking trade. I think he's talking Ukraine. I think they're not a very good spot right now, and they better kiss the ring pretty dang soon, or they're going to be in trouble.
Yeah, well, I think they're in big. I think they're all going more socialist, and all these countries are gonna sink, if you ask me. But
And
also, my feelings towards Europe in the last 5 years have gone so far down. I dislike Europe in general. I think they're shit countries. I think they don't have the freedom of speech.
I think they have so many people who are just stuck up Europeans.
Yeah. And I think they're gonna be poor and they're gonna be in big, big trouble, and they deserve it. So good luck over there, Europe. You suck.
Yep.
So I'm just very much rah America. Every other country sucks at this point.
You know, and like the whole Canada thing kind of pisses me off too.
Me
and
too.
Then we have that on top of it.
Dude, it comes down to the First and Second Amendment. If you don't have the First and Second Amendment, your country sucks and you live in a shit country.
Yeah.
That's just how I feel.
Yeah.
So here you go.
This means American patients were effectively subsidizing socialist healthcare systems in Germany, in all parts of the European Union. They were the toughest of all. They were nasty. And I see that. I see that with trade, too. European Union is in many ways nastier than China. Okay?
China.
And we've just started with them. Oh, they'll come down a lot. You watch. We have all the cards. They treated us very unfairly. They sell us 13 million cars. We sell them none. They sell us their agricultural products. We sell them virtually none. They don't take our products. That gives us all the cards, and very unfair. So they're going to have to pay more for health care, and we're going to have to pay less. That's all it is. And believe.
Okay, I mean, I hadn't seen that full clip, and that was great. He basically says, watch, the EU's tough on trade with us. They're going to come down a lot. I believe him. He also made
he was also right that I think the people that make the deals first are going to get the best deals, basically.
Yeah.
Because really,
which is probably some art of the deal strategy.
Yes. Of all the countries in the world, how many really, really matter for trade? Probably 10, right? There's probably 10 countries, maybe 17, 18 that matter. Let's say you cut out, let's say it's 17, just for sake of argument. Let's say you make 9 really good deals. And you say, you know what? Fuck it. We have 9. One of them being China, one of them being the UK or Britain, whatever. That's 80% of the pie right there. And if countries don't like being the ones cut out, or if companies don't, they can move to one of these 9 countries or the US. I can see him basically just stopping it then and just say, you know what? EU, you were late. Enjoy your 30% tariffs forever type of thing.
You know, if he did something like that, if he did something like that, I could see it being beneficial to the American people. You know,
and probably everyone he does the deal with.
And maybe Italy would suffer. I couldn't give less of a shit.
How many German companies would move to the UK? you know, or wherever.
Yep. They'd have to.
The US. Yep.
And how much would Germany become poorer? So all these countries better hurry up and get in line.
Enjoy your net neutral, your carbon neutral then.
And, you know, he made the point of we have the cards. And you just made the point of what? 17 countries actually matter for trade in the world. You know which country matters the most? It's the United States. We buy everything. Yeah. We are the biggest consumer of goods.
By like 80% of the goods.
It's like a ridiculous amount. You know, so you don't want to trade with us? Okay, maybe someone else will. We don't have to worry about it, honestly. And finally, we've got a president who's wielding the power that we hold instead of letting us just be bent over. Because it's not like we have been, you know, we've been getting very unfair deals. And and I think we're just trying to get fair deals. But if Trump makes it so that we're giving a little bit unfair deals to them, that doesn't exactly break my heart. That's okay.
I think he doesn't want a trade deficit. How do you do that then? If this country doesn't consume as much, you put a bigger tariff on them and you have 0 tariffs on us. Yeah. And then all of a sudden that you start getting rid of that trade deficit a bit.
Right, because also a lot more home manufactured things will happen.
And you know, he got kind of shit on by saying like, what are you gonna do? You're not gonna be able to get your daughter $30 for Christmas, so you can only do 3. I think the point he's also making is like China, it's mostly a bunch of shit we don't need, don't really want. His big one is like steel and automobiles and the stuff you need, especially during wartime. Those are the ones he wants to bring here. And the Temu shit he doesn't really care about. And I can see his point a little bit with that.
I fully agree with that. That's kind of a joke I made when we were watching that China factory during our China factory show of like, okay, so we'll buy less bags. We have plenty of bags.
Yep.
You know,
he just wants the steel here and then probably the rare earth minerals, the stuff that's really going to matter in the future.
Yeah. Okay, did you have an RFK Jr. one, or should I?
Yeah, RFK talks, but it's like 4 minutes. It's in that one. It's an important speech, but also it's 4 minutes. It's a little bit tough to get through. Go to the one that's labeled like
what we're doing.
ABC.
Okay.
Trump roast. Go to stick with the pharmacy one there, the one you were in.
All right.
And go down one. Up. It's the one that said like ABC, Trump roast ABC or whatever. They said, this one is kind of mislabeled.
What's this one?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think that's it.
A gift to the Department of Defense, and you should know better because you've been embarrassed enough, and so has your network.
He pulls
Your
up
network is a
RFK.
disaster. ABC is a disaster. Here is the bill. Bobby, come on over here. Now you're talking about chickens and beans.
This is an extraordinary day. This is an issue that, I grew up in the Democratic Party, and every major Democratic leader for 20 years has been making this promise to the American people. This was the fulcrum of Bernie Sanders' runs for presidency, that he was going to eliminate this discrepancy between Europe and the United States. But as it turns out, none of them were doing it. It's one of these promises that politicians make to their constituents, knowing that they'll never have to do it. And the reason they'll never have to do it is because they know that Congress is controlled in so many ways by the pharmaceutical industry. There's at least one pharmaceutical lobbyist for every congressman, every senator on Capitol Hill, and every member of the Supreme Court. By some estimates, 3. Pharmaceutical companies, the industry itself spends 3 times what the next largest lobbyist spends on lobbying. So this was an issue that people talked about, but nobody wanted to do anything because it was radioactive. They knew you couldn't get it by Congress. We now have a president who is a man of his word, who has the courage. President Trump was taking money from the pharmaceutical industry too. I think they gave you $100 million. But he can't be bought, unlike most of the politicians in this country. And he is standing here for the American people. I don't know what, there's writers like Lord Elizabeth Warren.
Hang on. What he just said there, Garrett, you can't hear this, right?
No, yeah.
He basically said, what we said earlier, where these Democrat politicians like Bernie and them have campaigned on this promise to get rid of this pharmaceutical discrepancy where they charge us $5,000 and they charge Europe $40. Yep. And he said, but they knew they would never actually have to do anything because Congress is controlled by the pharmaceutical companies. And he said, but President Trump actually is doing it and is a man of his word. And he even says, and President Trump received $100 million from the pharmaceutical companies, but he can't be bought, and he's fixing this problem anyway. And it's like, dang, that was big praise from
big time.
Bobby Kennedy.
We've talked to, I think, but a lot of things what these guys do in the House and the Senate, they'll bring something to vote knowing it's not going to pass. And if it was going to pass, they wouldn't bring it up. Bernie Sanders did this once where he was trying to get end military attacks in some country, and he just couldn't get the votes for it. And finally he did. And he withdrew it when he found out he had the votes. And he said, well, Biden says he's going to back off, so I'm withdrawing the vote. But let the White House know that if they fall back on this, we'll pass this. And the obvious person will say, why don't you just pass it? You have the votes. You could force them to do what you want. But he really didn't want that to pass. He just wanted to look like he was anti-war to trick the stupid Bernie bros and CNN and MSNBC and those idiots. But he never really was passionate about that. It's all horseshit.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what he's saying here, too. And Obama ran on doing this exact same thing and didn't do it and had excuses. We saw it with Biden with the border. Oh, I wish I could close the border, but there's nothing I can do until my Green New Deal law gets passed. And then Trump gets in and closes the border instantly.
Yeah, why are we ruled by such criminals, dude?
Yes, yeah.
It's so crazy.
Yeah.
Here's a little side note just to throw this in. Speaking of being ruled by criminals, you seen this video, Garrett?
Didn't Macron lose the election anyway? Like, why is he still there? I could have sworn he lost.
I don't remember, honestly. Yeah, probably.
Yeah, we've got to talk about this. You're probably going to hide me. I just won't talk during this part. But there's
You won't have
old
to hide you
Keir
for this
Starmer.
one.
Here's Keir Starmer.
This video is not the exact same video.
Okay, it's not, is it?
Here's
Did I send you the wrong one?
No, I brought this one up.
Okay.
This is their recent meeting. Keir Starmer, Macron, and Friedrich Merz, heads of England, France, and Germany. Dude, AI is getting too good on it. Look at that. Okay, I should probably explain for anybody who hasn't
I
seen.
mean, we should put on the other one first.
Yeah,
but
yeah. I'm going to bring that up. Because you
So-
can find it very quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
They
Give
had
us a
a
rundown. What's the deal,
They
Garrett?
had a meeting and they had media there. I think it took them by surprise. And here's the clip.
Here it is.
Oh, it's
Notice the spoon.
it's a long walk. I'll be back in Poland.
It's through my bathroom, huh?
Yeah, it's literally. We came through Germany, and then we made it to France.
German bedroom and
we got through the border.
Right.
Make a photo, and after that you will be allowed to drink.
Yeah.
There's the man. He saw Merz pick up a spoon and thought, "Oh shit!"
Yeah.
He grabs the bag. He hides
He
it.
snatches that bag. Or that.
Yeah. Right after the spoon here. Watch the spoon first.
Yeah, let's show it. Let's show
The photo, and
it.
after that.
I might have to move our camera. I'm just going to move them in case we're in the way. Hang on. Okay, there's me. Whoops.
Yeah.
So it will be allowed to drink.
Yeah.
Super.
Yeah.
On va bien.
Puts it in his pocket.
Merci. Merci.
Merci, Gab. Thank you.
Here, one more time.
Yeah.
So it will be allowed to drink.
Yeah.
Super.
Yeah.
On va bien.
Okay. Now here's the deal. There's a lot of speculation. Is that a little bag of cocaine? Or is that just a crumpled napkin?
I think it's obviously cocaine, right?
I've gone back and forth a couple times, to be honest.
I think it's cocaine.
Yeah, the way he hides it, and even when he's moving it into his other hand to put it in his pocket, he makes sure to not let it be seen during that little.
And apparently that spoon, that Merz had or whatever his name is, apparently that has something to do with cocaine
Yeah,
too.
I've seen people saying that too.
Uh,
So I guess I am leaning towards it being cocaine, which shouldn't
Alex
surprise
Jones says
anybody.
Yeah. Look at what Alex Jones says here. Who is the European leader? That's the woman, and she went out dancing one time, and they tried to make a big deal of like, oh, the men can't deal with this world leader dancing in a nightclub. You remember that?
Well, I actually don't remember her dancing, so I'm not sure. But
Yeah.
there was that New Zealand,
I think that's who it is.
Yacinda Yarden or whatever her
And you
name
remember
is.
her kind of doing the
Yes, constantly doing that. Zelensky's. I think all these people might just be
I think so,
cokehead,
too.
coke
Yep.
fiends.
Cokehead pedos.
Yeah, cokehead, pedo, Satanist, pieces of shit. And that I think that if that's true, it kind of makes sense with my worldview of like these people are all just evil snakes. They'll do anything for more cocaine. They don't give a shit if they start World War III as long as they get cocaine and little kids to rape and kill.
Yeah.
And
More
then
adrenochrome.
that's the leader of these countries. Yeah, that's what it looks like, dude. So, okay, you think this is cocaine, Garrett?
Look what Alex Jones did here. Look at that. If that's a true picture, yes, obviously. I think a tissue is not going to be plastic like that.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, if that's,
Do you know what this reminds me of too? Do you remember in the White House they found that bag of blow? and the Secret Service basically closed the investigation, saying we have no idea who it is.
Right away. Yeah.
How embarrassing. They should be too embarrassed to do that. Do you really believe with every visitor log in the White House and all the cameras they have, the security, that they don't know who that is? Like, they're selling out to the Bidens there, obviously, or somebody powerful. They know who's below that is.
Oh, of course they know who's
They're
below
not.
that. There was
Nobody's bringing below into the White House and leaving it in there. And then, well, sorry, we can't figure out who this is.
Yeah, there
That's
was
not
never
a
any
thing with the
question.
Secret Service.
Yeah, there was never any. They for sure
I
knew
think
who
they
was
should be
cocaine.
ashamed. And I think that's another thing that the supposed this transparency, Cash Patel turning the headquarters into a museum of the deep state. That's another thing he should come out with.
Yeah, no kidding. He should. They should reopen that. Boxbar says when the adrenochrome supply dries up, cocaine might be the next.
It probably is just adrenochrome dressed up as cocaine.
Yeah. They probably mix them. I gotta hide your webcam so we can see this spoon, Garrett.
All right.
Hang on. Okay, see how it's like a little cane or something? I'm gonna bring him back. Adam and Stove, they didn't know whose it was, but because it could have been anybody's. The White House cocaine, yeah, that could have been anybody's. That's funny. Okay, so yeah, that I just showed that little spoon, and I think it might be specifically a cocaine snorting thing. So, yeah, this shit was probably cocaine. The reason I went back and forth on it is because
don't worry, world leaders. The media is all of a sudden going to be very curious about this. They got your backs. Because you guys are the anti-Trumps. So don't worry. They're going to make sure NPR and PBS, the American taxpayer pays for, they're going to make sure that they cover for you guys because you guys are sufficiently anti-Trump is what they're going to do.
Yeah. And because
No
you're
worries.
their rulers and they just do whatever you say anyway.
No worries.
Here's just a random video. You know, this makes so much sense to me too. Like all these Zelensky always doing that. Like for sure looks to me like Zelensky's doing cocaine. And for anyone that's ever done cocaine, you get a feeling of like, you know, you kind of get nervous of, do I still have some cocaine on my nose? Can anyone see that I have just done? Yeah. Yeah. So that's part of it. And if you were a world politician and you're out there about to give your microphone speech and you just did cocaine in the bathroom, you would have to do that. You would like have to be like, oh, yeah. Because you'd be nervous. You've got some cocaine there. They could see you.
I would imagine that if my country is being invaded and I'm not worried at all and I have no intention of leaving and I'm taking a hit and they said, hey, do you want to ride out? And you say, I don't want to ride out. I'll be dead by morning. I would think like, wow, that's a really cool line I just came up with. But don't worry, 3 years later, I'm still going to be alive and grifting for money.
Yeah.
Unrelated to all of this, of course.
Zelensky's the best. Macron's wife is his handler. Got him hooked on drugs as a teenager.
Talked about this.
I wonder why
the trans thing.
Adam and Stove, why'd you put wife in quotation marks?
Throw the wife, the trans thing out. Let's say it's his wife. She's 40 years old with a family and kids. She's his 14-year-old student.
Math teacher.
Macron is a 14-year-old getting taught by a 40-year-old with a bunch of kids that gets too close to him. That's so bad that Macron's parents go, this is not normal. We're sending you away to be away from this predator. Sends him away, and it doesn't work. She still gets her claws in there and marries him when he turns like 18 or 19 and she's 45.
Yeah. I mean,
at best, she's a dangerous pedophile.
Yeah.
At best.
Yeah. And
what he talks about this.
Yeah. No.
We had a groomer that married him. He was 14. His parents couldn't protect him, so they moved him away.
Right. When you throw on top of it that she's a man, it's even creepier. But you're right, even without that side of it. Yeah, but you know, I do believe that Brigitte Macron's a man. And I've only watched the first 4 parts of Candace Owens' thing on it. I still have 2 more to go or something.
They're basically going to pay her a lump sum of like millions of dollars, and then like I think it's like $600,000 for every year, every month that she didn't talk about it, and she said no.
Say that again.
They're going to pay her off. They were going to pay
They
her a
tried
lump
to
sum,
bribe Candace to not say
a
it.
lump sum, and then a continuing amount to make sure that she wouldn't talk about it. And it was a significant amount. It was like $600,000 a year.
That makes me like her even more. I'm such a fan of her, and I love that she wouldn't be bought off by them.
Yeah. That makes money.
If someone would send Brigitte Macron an email, I'll stop talking about her. She'll pay me a big enough amount of money.
So Macron and Putin, we'll put them on the list too.
Yeah. All these other people will get in offers. Where's our offer, Garrett?
Did you know what I wouldn't do? I wouldn't go and make a tweet about why Coke should be able to be sold to people with Snap cards on Twitter. I wouldn't do that for $1,000.
I wouldn't either. They have to.
How long before those same guys are doing this for Big Pharma, by the way?
They probably already are.
Yeah. At least that one, they can act like they're being consistent with conservative values. That one, they can at least act like it. The Coke one, you can't. Doesn't matter that Trump has a Diet Coke button. That's nothing to do with people using taxpayer money to buy it.
Yeah, no shit.
Nate, I think we should save the AI segment I got.
Okay. I was actually going to say, it's been an hour and 15. Oh, your camera disappeared and you're muted again. So maybe that's we'll see if you come back here in a second. I don't really have a play out video. Come on, Garrett. Oh, you're back.
All right. I think you get to put me back, by the way, when that happens.
That's what I just did.
Okay, good. Yeah, because that wasn't my camera shutting off. Yeah, I got 2 of them. So there's a terrible story in Canada. Did you hear about this? The 2 missing kids?
No.
2 kids supposedly wandered away. Stepdad is obviously super suspicious. He's hiding something.
Okay, yeah.
Either way, just go and play the video. I don't want to get in the weeds on this one too much. Just know there's 2 missing kids that supposedly walked away. And let's play this out for everybody.
Okay, hang on.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I am Corporal Carly McCann, Provincial Public Information Officer for the Nova Scotia RCMP. Thank you all for being here today. Bonjour, je suis la capitale Carly McCann, agent d'information publique pour la GRC en Nouvelle-Écosse. Merci de votre présence aujourd'hui. First, I acknowledge that we are in Mi'kmaq, the traditional and unceded ancestral territory of the Mi'kmaq people. I also recognize that African Nova Scotians are a distinct people whose histories, legacies, and contributions have enriched that part of Mi'kmaq known as Nova Scotia for over 400 years.
Oh my God.
Is that the most insane thing you've seen?
Holy
it's
shit.
one thing. It's one thing if you're a private company doing this, because it's your own money, whatever. You can do whatever stupid, goofy shit you want. But what if a government
public
official
servant? Yeah.
It's way worse, I think. Now it becomes an actual penance. And there's where they're pushing their weird ass religion onto you when they're doing this stuff. That'd be as weird as them opening up with a Hail Mary prayer or
oh yeah, except it's way worse. But yeah. But
it's such a stupid fucking thing.
So that was a press conference where the police were going to give an update on 2 missing children in Canada.
2 missing kids.
And she started it off with
the time. The time is against them.
She starts it off with a land acknowledgement and some bullshit.
You gotta get those virtue points. There's a 7 and a 9-year-old kid missing. Think of all the virtue points she's gonna get from that.
Dude,
think how good that's gonna look.
Look how insane the left is. These people suck so much. I don't give a shit. I can't believe how much they suck.
fucking crime when you're doing that.
She should be getting pelted with tomatoes as soon as she started doing that. It's so disgusting, dude. They think they're doing something good, and they're being such idiots.
Much worse. That's so much worse than a business than Microsoft doing that. It's so much.
Well, it shouldn't be happening. It shouldn't be happening. But it's similar to in England. Their police are starting their announcements with, Allah Akbar and shit like that.
Yeah,
have you seen that? They're opening their speeches with Muslim shit. It's insane. It's completely inappropriate. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And I blame the woke mind virus and the evil Democrat ideology that's apparently, is very infective to idiots. So, wow, that was despicable.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
I hate her. And I know she's just following orders. That's not an excuse for me.
No, me neither. I think she's a dumb piece of shit to do an acknowledgement before that.
I have a more lighthearted one we could play out on. It kind of teases the AI segment. I have an AI segment I've been waiting to show, but we haven't been able to get to it. Go to the AI email and just pull up the first one. It's pretty funny.
Okay. Hang on.
This one's not really AI so much, but it's just going to show the struggles of technology and the aging population.
Okay, this one or?
Yeah, have you seen this one? This one's pretty funny. So. Yeah, play this one out.
All right, we'll play it out with this, Garrett.
Yep.
Call this
we
our
call
last
it.
video.
We say bye to everybody, and
let's play it out. Then we'll say goodbye.
Okay. Yeah, it's not long.
Here we go.
Alexa, play that.
Oops. Yeah, I heard
Alexa,
it for half a second.
Play the Happy Birthday song.
Play a specific song with an Amazon Music Unlimited free trial on this Echo. It's free for 30 days and then £5.99 a month until you cancel. Terms in the Alexa app. Should I start your free trial and play Happy Birthday?
Yes, please.
No.
Your bank needs additional verification for your payment.
Oh, no.
I started your Amazon Music Unlimited free trial on this Echo.
No, thank you.
To avoid your subscription ending early, please complete the verification within 3 days. I will send you an email with instructions.
No, thank you. Alexa, cancel.
On Amazon Music.
Alexa, cancel.
Alexa,
cancel.
If they send it,
they're both terrified.
I've got 3 days.
Enjoy your new subscription, guys.
They're going to have that subscription for the next 30 years.
Yeah.
Alexa.
Well.
Oh, they ruined her birthday song.
Yeah, it's too bad.
That's too bad. Yep. It's a brave new world out there for technology. You and I know that, trying to get this shit.
Yeah, goddamn, the last couple hours have been pretty frustrating.
All right, dude. I think we accomplished a show.
Yeah.
We were 10 minutes
I didn't
late.
think we were getting this far. I didn't think.
Oh, we almost didn't do a show for sure.
Oh yeah.
Thanks everybody for tuning in. Thanks Box Bar, Adam and Stove. Hey, Lily Lala. Good show in spite of technical difficulties. Thank you, Lily Lala. Yeah, Jake, Adam and Stove, Box Bar, Lily Lala, everybody else. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see everybody next Monday.
See you guys next week.
Peace.
Yeah, had to come through and let you know. Keep it locked, this is the Nate and Garrett Show. Talking current events, let the conversation begin. Everything from conspiracies, yeah, I'm talking aliens. Truth bombs that many never knew. We talking politics, everything up to the moon. Was the landing real or fake? I guess you'll never know. Let's talk, this is the Nate and Garrett Show, yeah. So lend me your ear, let's get it poppin'. You know that we keep it live, non-stopping. Educating, entertain, there ain't no doubt. After you listen, you'll be thinking way outside the box. From media dishonesty, never let them play you. Keep it authentic nowadays, many can't do. Unfiltered is how we do it. Make sure you stay locked in and tuned in, let's go. Had to come through and let you know. Keep it locked, this is the Nate and Garrett Show. Talking current events, let the conversation begin. Everything from conspiracies, yeah, I'm talking aliens.